What's up? Today we're going to talk about our instrument Militrigg.
The basic idea we had about the Militrigg was to create an instrument that we were able to play melodies on, because the instrument we had previously built for Moneeo were very much percussion and drone-like instruments. And this time we needed a melodic instrument. And we wanted the instrument to be a very physical instrument, that we could use large gestures when performing it.
So we went to this army surplus warehouse looking for things to buy for instrument building. So we found this big box. So in this big box there were lots of shoe block or shoe tree. So we grabbed a whole bunch of them and took them home, and we didn't know what to build with it at the point. But we wanted something very moving and flexible.
So the shoe blocks looks like this and has a long spring to it, and that's why we thought it looked so funny, and we just couldn't resist them. I mean, you just want to do something with them. And when we started to think about how we were going to arrange these, this circle form came kind of natural, because we knew that we wanted to perform them by hitting them instead of just playing a key. Then we could hit it. So we arranged them in like this in a circle. The size of this wooden block became quite natural. So we made this shape, and we made 4 of them, and just putting holes for the springs, and made a hole here for the connection as well. And when we play this, we hit the shoe block. Then we have to have some kind of sensor that can recognize this hit. And we chose what we were working a lot with at that moment, small piezo elements. It's like a microphone that just recognizes the vibration. It doesn't listen to the sound at all. It just listens to the vibrations. And from this, each piezo element in each of this shoe block, there goes a cable through the spring and into this connection. And this connection is an old computer connection. It's a SCSI connection. And the reason for that is that it has many wires. We use 10 wires from each of these, and these ones are really cheap, which has a lot of wires. I mean, if you buy an audio multi-cable, it's really expensive, and the connections as well. But this one is really cheap, and it works really well for this. And the signal from this one goes into a unit that is used for triggering electronic drum kits. And we're using this one, the Alesis D4, which is a pretty common drum trigger module. And it has a lot of drum sound, but we don't use them. We just use this module to convert what we play into MIDI notes, which we are sending back to the computer, where we generate them with software synths. And we have a couple of these. We have 4 of these units, which we place on cymbal stands. So we can arrange them in a way that we want, in which direction and angle and height as well. So you have 2 of these to perform it, and I have 2.
Right.
So it looks like kind of a tree of some kind.
So when you play this, it's easy to mistrigger, because when you hit too hard, it will make all the others move as well. Or if you hit too soft, then it might not trigger at all. So we got a solution which we found out that duct tape them all together all over here. It got more stable to play it when you perform.
Yeah, it's a lot more controllable movements of the springs. And we also compensate for this in the drum module, where we can use functions like crosstalk that tells that when we hit this one, don't listen as much to the other ones. And that worked also to some kind of degree of compensation, but not all the way. I mean, these modules are work in with electronic drum kits, and this is quite far from that.
Yeah, it's much difficult to play this instrument just because of that it is very sensitive, and it's a challenge, really,
yeah.
But a fun one. So we wanted this instrument to be very visual on stage. So when we perform, we have a scream in front of it, and we're standing behind playing these shoe trees. And we can decide when we want to lead up behind the scream or lead up in front of it.
Yeah, and when we lit up behind the scrim, it becomes transparent. You can see right through it. Even though we put projections on it, it's transparent and you can see us behind it. And if you lit up in front of the scrim, you can't see through it. And this is kind of an old theater trick, using scrims to make things disappear or arrive. And we researched quite a lot to get the right fabric for this scrim, so that it has the right properties, that it's able to project images very well, and that it can be transparent as well.
We had one very special performance with this instrument. It was in the City Hall, the Blue Hall in Stockholm.
Yeah, the same room where the Nobel Prize ceremony is held. It was a corporate event with 800 engineers from all over the world. They were all there for 1 week and talked about corrosion, I remember. So we customized a lot of the visuals on this performance for that event. This was an event that had a really, really tight schedule, and it was timed into each second. So when we had set a time for the performance to start, that was the absolute time. It could not be moved in any direction, not earlier, not later. And in our case, it's quite crucial that everything work when we enter the stage. And when we had 90 seconds left to the performance, we were noticing that something was not quite right with the computer. And we thought, okay, are we going to stage and take a chance and hope that everything will work? Or would we have the guts to restart everything? And that's quite a huge challenge to start everything when you're live, when the audience is sitting there and watching everything. And the solution to that is actually to be extremely well prepared. So for the last 2 weeks before the show we rehearsed a lot, and every day we rehearsed in starting up the computer, starting all the softwares in the right sequence, calibrating everything in the right sequence. So when we enter the stage, we know that it will work. So we were very well prepared for restarting a computer just before the show and feeling confidence in that it actually works. And that is so important when doing this kind of concerts. I mean, it can look really simple when an artist go up on stage and everything is working. And as in this case, when we have a lot of software that are working together, there are so many things that can go wrong. And we don't have a crew to rely on that if the projections goes down, there's nobody who fixes that. We have to do that. If the sound goes down, nobody fixes it. If not, we do it. If this will stop triggering as it should, then it's just up to us. So we have to be really, really prepared for this.
So we are both the artist and technician, the light engineer, and we have to keep track of the visuals, and everything should talk to each other, and it should be perfect, just perfect. And we made a very quick decision then to actually restart the computer.
Yeah.
Even if we haven't many seconds to do that, and we still did that decision.
And it's quite a feeling when you restart the computer, the show starts, you enter the stage, and you leave the computer. And when you finally hit the first note, and you actually hear the sound and see the visuals, and you can see that it's working. That's kind of a relief. Then you can start to relax and start to actually perform.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, at least to say, but it was the most fun performance I think we ever have made with this instrument as well.
There are quite challenges with venues like this. I mean, we had 1 hour of preparation before. We couldn't get in any earlier. I mean, we are used to prepare for a day before a concert. Now we had 1 hour to set everything up, make it work, and then you have no time to just experiment and try different things and try to decide, will this light looks good? You have to have everything clear just before you enter the venue. And as you mentioned earlier, this is quite an unpredictable instrument to perform. You hit one and others can sound as well. So most performances, there's not one performance that will actually be perfect. There will be some mistriggering and it will behave a little bit on its own. And yet, during some of the concerts, or most of the concerts, there's always somebody in the audience that think that it's just playback, that we're just standing there and doing some kind of dancing or
Yeah,
what?
move around and dance, I think.
And I mean, if it would be playback, then we maybe should make some perfect recording at least. So I don't know why they still think that. Maybe it's kind of in the nature of electronic music. I don't know.
And we should at least dance a bit better.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah.
And actually, this instrument is so fascinating and fun to perform with. So we'll see if we get to make some more music for this instrument in the future.
Yeah. And maybe develop some more reliable sensors as well. We have some ideas about that, but we'll see. And that's, I believe, everything about the Militrigg so far. So thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.